One come all, those short, those tall. There may be some clowning around, but get an earful, all in all. No need for waivers, no need for saviors. Don't be frightened, do not hide. Enter now and enjoy the ride. So step right up, those far and near. The attraction is set. It's ear for fear.
Hi, welcome to the Ear for Fear podcast. This is the podcast that talks about scary movies. Our movies trying to be scary. I am Rick. I am Morris.
I am Morris.
Are you Morris?
I'm Morris.
I'm Rick. Are you Morris?
Hi, Rick.
Hi, Morris. I'm Rick.
Hey, Rick. I'm Morris. Hey,
what
everyone.
is up? What is up, dude?
What's up, man?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Good.
Well, welcome everyone for another episode.
Yeah, we're here to talk about Evil Dead Rise.
Eeny, meeny, miny, you.
Evil Dead Rise.
Now, the Evil Dead franchise is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I know it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try to crap on it too much today, even though I have lots of issues with this movie. You and I saw this in the theater when it came out, and then I rewatched it last night.
Me too, actually.
Now that HBO Max, or I guess it's just Max now. Max has it for free on there.
Yeah. Well,
watched it last night, and I don't think I really changed my opinion too much. I went into this thing. I think I had high hopes for it, and it was just all right. I don't know. It was just all right for me. Like, I felt like it could have been way better, and it wasn't for me. But we can talk about that. Before I forget, I got to make a correction. On the Bone Tomahawk episode with Scott, we were talking, I think, about cartoons, and I don't know, I referred to something as Jabberjaw, but I was mistaken. It was actually Mr. Jaw. So
or Mr. Jaws.
Mr. Jaws, yeah. And because I remember watching both of those cartoons when I was a kid, and I got Jabberjaw mixed up with Mr. Jaws, because Jabberjaw was more of like a Scooby-Doo kind of cartoon versus, say, Mr. Jaws was the one where he had the little sidekick fish that had, I think, a little hat or something.
Yeah, and they were part of the Pink Panther.
The Pink Panther.
Yeah.
And which one was Hanna-Barbera Jabberjaw? I can't remember.
Hanna-Barbera was Jabberjaws.
So that's the correction.
Yeah.
I'm not right all the time. I do make mistakes.
Well, the thing too is it's easy to make that mistake because they were out at the same time. They were essentially Saturday morning cartoons out at the same time because of the popularity of Jaws at the time. Yeah,
for sure. And I watched both of them, and of course I haven't watched them in a while. So there you go. That is my correction on Bone Tomahawk. So forgive me. So anyways, Evil Dead Rise 2023. Before we do we jump into it and do a spoilers, do you want to do a little synopsis, or do you want me to just kind of tackle one?
I could do a synopsis. So we have two sisters. One sister has 3 children, and they're in this high rise, and they are kind of thrust into, the Evil Dead taking over this high rise building, and evil ensues, and darkness attacks. So
there you go.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Yeah, sounds good to me.
I suck at that.
Nah, I thought it was good. All I was going to do was read from something and kind of make it sound like it was my own, All right, man, before we jump to it, full spoilers.
1, 2, spoilers coming for you.
All right. You've been warned. Yeah, I know Bruce Campbell and I think Sam Raimi had I don't know.
And Rob Tappert too.
Were they kind of producers on this thing?
They're producers on every single entry of the Evil Dead.
Evil Dead, and,
whether or not it follows the consistency of the storyline of the originals or what started with the 2013 one, which I really enjoy. I know we haven't done an episode on that one, but I really enjoy the 2013 one. I know it's not tongue-in-cheek and campy. Neither was this one. I mean, there are some kind of jokes that are throughout both of them.
Yeah.
But, I tend to like that 2013 one better. And this isn't like a continuation of that. This is kind of like another Elseworld universe type of story.
So I recently watched the 2013 one. It was just whatever for me. And this one was, again, whatever. Kind of on the same lines. Yeah. And I think what it boils down to for me is I enjoy the campiness, the tongue-in-cheek, like you mentioned, the humor. And when you don't have a lot of it, then I kind of lose interest because I kind of feel like there's been a lot of that throughout the franchise.
Yeah.
Especially in part 2. I would even say Ash versus Evil Dead, the television show.
Totally, yeah.
And that's what I kind of gravitate towards and I look for, and it didn't. These 2 installments didn't really have any of that. Like there was a scene where I think it's Ellie who turns into a deadite, and she basically sucks the eye out of one of the neighbors, and then spits it. And it goes into like this kid's mouth and he chokes on it. I felt like that could have been funny, and it wasn't. Like it really lost me on that. It was
for me, it didn't have to be that. It obviously it's an homage to Evil Dead 2. But it didn't have to. I think the meaning was there. And I don't. With these last 2 entries of the Evil Dead franchise, they're darker, and I appreciate that it's a little different. I don't think they can really capture what, because our main person is Ash, and they can't really capture that without an Ash. Yeah.
And I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that. I guess but I like having him in there.
Yeah.
Because it still maintains like a gore. It still has some dark stuff happening, but then it has that humor side that I really, really like. And I felt like this was just, it was really, I was sitting there last night and I was like, there's no, I've already seen it. I know there's no humor. I was just like, whatever, and I really wanted to like this. I really did. And it's just, like I said, it's not a terrible movie.
Right.
It's not a terrible movie. I think there's some good things happening here, right? I think the effects are really cool.
Yeah.
They did some, the Deadites look pretty damn cool. There's some scenes that are fucked up.
Yeah.
The cheese grater comes to mind. I was thinking about this last night. That could have been far worse.
The consensus was that it was built up to be something completely, kind of fucked up, and a lot of people were let down because they were thinking it was going to be more fucked up. So
people wanted more.
Yeah, they heard about stuff. They heard about the cheese grater scene from when it played at South by Southwest. People were talking about it, so everybody had in their mind, oh God, cheese grater scene is going to be really, really, a messed up, bloody scene where it's like a road rash. That's basically what it was.
Do you think that maybe it got cut? Like maybe the initial scene when they filmed it was far worse, and then they maybe kind of the rating board comes in and they're like, you need to like cut some of that because it's just too gnarly.
Maybe, but I don't know. Part of me thinks no. I have a feeling this is going to be because it's already out on as well as being out on Max. It's already out on Blu-ray and
there's no 4K. There's not like a director's cut or
I think it's going to be like the last one where later on you're going to get an unrated cut that has more blood and maybe some more gore. I don't know. I hate when they do that shit.
Yeah, well, they do it on purpose, so they do it to sell, and that's what they do, right? They'll release this one. This is the one and then a year or two from now, after you already bought the other one, you're going to buy this one because you want that 5 extra seconds of footage.
Yeah.
And collectors like you will go buy it.
Yeah,
because that's well, there's no probably. I know you will because I know you. You will go buy that. Oh man, there's 5 extra seconds. Oh yeah, I gotta have that one.
Gotta have
for
it.
another $30 or $40. Well,
I'm a smart shopper.
Yeah.
I wait for sales or
I don't really buy many movies anymore.
Yeah.
I just really don't.
Yeah.
Like I wait for you to give it to me on digital or something. But so we have. I will say this. This is what I will say. The beginning is really cool. When so you have Teresa, Caleb, and Jessica, that beginning scene where I don't know, they're at some beach house or something, and
it's more like a cabin, like a lake house.
Okay, lake house. I'm sorry. There you go, lake house. And who's the one that's sick? Is it Jessica? Jessica's the one that's sick, right? And her friend is Teresa.
I think so.
Like when Jessica kind of turns and she rips the scalp off of Teresa.
Yeah.
And then she has that drone and it just kind of, I don't know, it ends up hitting her face. She falls into the water and Caleb decides to jump in even though she looks like a dead-eyed and a demon. But it's like, okay, I'm going to jump in. He dies. But then when she rises out of the water and then you got the title, I will say that is the best part of the movie for me. I was hoping that right there would have been an indication of what the rest of the movie was going to be like, and if it did, I would have been probably praising this movie.
Yeah,
but I kind of felt it reached its peak at that. Now, my opinion, I'm sure you disagree, but at least I can find some good things with this movie.
Well, there's really no high in this movie. And for me, I'm not, I enjoyed it because I've seen plenty of movies that are cookie
But did
cutter.
you love it? You liked it. But you didn't love it.
I loved it.
Really?
But I didn't really love it. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
Really?
Well,
hold on, but let me ask you this. Is it because of your love for the franchise?
No.
You sure?
Yeah. Because
when we watched it the first time, you never said loved. No. You were like, it was cool.
So this is my thoughts because I can't really do a grading system. I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know.
What I found was I was engaged with the movie. Nothing had ever really felt like it dragged for me. Movies like The Pope's Exorcist or even the last Conjuring movie, the Devil Made Me Do It. Those feel like they're just, churning those out just to turn a buck.
Well, they are.
And then obviously this is put out because it wants to make money, no movie, but it didn't feel like that kind of movie. It felt like,
I guess you were right on that. But I would say that it had. I'm not going to say 100% it felt that way, but it
has elements of that.
Yeah.
but I think it did it better.
Yes,
than that.
Agreed.
And if it does that, then I enjoy it, and then I'm on board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, we would both agree that you have way more tolerance.
Oh, I do.
Than I do, and you like a lot more stuff than I do, and
I don't. You don't like. I know you don't like a lot of the shit that I like.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'll watch something. I will always watch something. I'll give it a fair shake.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to tell how it is. If it didn't resonate with me, it just didn't resonate with me. And this one didn't. Like, if I never saw this movie again, I'd be totally fine.
Yeah.
But with that said, it doesn't mean that there's not some interesting things happening here. I think the main thing I was telling you, the campiness and humor, I love that. But I didn't give a shit about any of these characters. The only one that maybe I cared about was Beth. And she's our final girl along with Cassie, the little girl.
Yeah.
Her niece. Other than that, I didn't give a shit about Ellie. I didn't care about Danny. Didn't care about Bridget. I didn't care. And none of the neighbors. I wasn't invested in any of them.
I think they introduced the neighbors just so we have like more
people to kill off. That's really all it boils down to. But I didn't care about them.
No. They didn't really flesh them out
at all. Like, I did not care. And even the kids, Ellie's kids, I didn't care. Even if Cassie, the little, this sounds terrible, but if they ended up killing her off in the movie, because that's what they do these days,
right.
It wouldn't have really bothered me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But I mean, Beth a little bit, but honestly, none of them, I wasn't invested in any of them.
Yeah. Beth was my favorite character.
Well, yeah. Well, she's, I think, the favorite for the reason, right? I mean, she's there the whole movie along with Cassie. But what I will say is it was believable that they could be sisters. I could see them as sisters.
Yeah, totally.
I thought they did a pretty good job there. But other than that, I just didn't care about any of them.
Yeah.
At all. And for me, for a movie like this, I want to really care about if something should, because we know something's going to happen to them. I want to care that if it does, I'm like, oh, well, that's a bummer. That sucks. Even though I knew it was going to happen, so that was one of my main issues with this, man. Yeah. I don't know if other people feel that way. Did you feel that way at all? Like, were you invested in any of these characters?
Well, yeah, I did like Ellie's character prior to her turning.
Really?
Yeah. And then I like Beth throughout.
Yeah. Like I said, Beth is cool. Ellie, I from start to finish didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
The oldest daughter, what was her name again?
Bridget, the one with the dark hair.
Yeah, I kind of liked her too.
I didn't care.
Really?
Didn't care. Danny didn't care. Cassie didn't care. I just didn't care about any of them. Dude, I really wanted to enjoy
Cassie, I mean, I understand how young she is, but that kind of irritated me with her trying to open up the door, knowing.
Oh, I know. It's like, really, you see your mom out there in the hallway.
Yeah.
And you see dead bodies in the hallway that she killed, and then she has blood all over her, and she looks like a demon. But you're gonna open the door. You're gonna open the door, and it's like that type of shit. I don't know, man. I don't give kid passes on stuff like that, because she had to have been what, 8 to 10?
8 to 10.
Come on, man. I don't know.
And I could see it if it was played like more like the original Evil Dead series, and even the 2013, where it's like, I'm all right now, and you can't see them, and they're in the dark cellar.
Sure.
Then opening the cellar door, or opening a door, would be easier and more believable. But yeah, it's like she totally saw all that blood in the hallway, and
definitely,
and blood all over her mother.
When her mom turned around, it looked like she almost had a hole in her from the shotgun. Oh yeah, and she had blood all over her, and the neighbors are literally dead right outside the door.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, I'm gonna let you in, but it's always those tropes, man. Yeah. It's like when Danny, when the earthquake hits and she decides to go into that to grab the book, the thing's moving around. I mean, really, like, I don't know, man. I understand if she doesn't, there's no movie,
right?
But you and I both know we're not going into that, and we're not grabbing a book that looks like it has teeth on it.
Well, the thing I noticed this time that I didn't notice the first time was that they were talking, they were talking ghost stories and ghosts haunting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then they were saying the man hung himself, and that it used to be an old bank underneath.
Yeah, like it had a vault or something.
Yeah, and I don't think I remember hearing that it was an old bank, them talking about it being an old bank prior to the earthquake. So when the earthquake happened, maybe they were thinking, or Danny was thinking,
there's money in there.
Yeah, there's money. I'm gonna go look for, if it's an old bank, I'm gonna go look for some money. Because prior to that, I'm like, why the fuck would you go down there? It's
I guess we could argue that I think there was one scene where Danny said, the book looked kind of old and maybe it was valuable, so maybe we could get some money, because I knew they were having issues, right? Like the dad had bounced on them, left them. The building was basically almost condemned, and
they had to find a place within a month.
To find a place to live. I get the impression that mom really doesn't probably have much money,
right?
And so I guess in that, in that aspect, I guess, okay, Danny's thoughts were, I'm gonna see if any of this is worth any money, so we can sell it, and who knows. So I guess I give a small pass, but then anytime you have to put on a record and spin it backwards, you should know right off the bat nothing good comes out of that.
Well, no. I think this was going forwards, wasn't it?
No, I don't know. It was backwards.
It was?
Because remember, Danny put the record on the turntable and it wouldn't play. So he rotate. I think he went backwards on it. And then that's when I'm like, dude, if you have to do that, you know some shit's going to go down.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
So
and then also any book that has like fucking thorny looking teeth.
Yes.
And you're gonna prick your freaking
and then the
finger.
blood disappears. Yeah, there's a problem.
You know, and yeah, you could say that, you know, Danny didn't notice the blood disappearing, but if that thing's like locked like that, you know, I'm gonna open that thing.
Fuck that, dude. That thing is supposed to be closed for a reason.
Yeah.
I ain't messing with that shit.
And even Bridget's like, well, you know, Mom's not going to let us leave here, you know, because of the earthquake and whatnot. And, well, make sure you take it back in the morning, you know, that kind of thing.
Fuck that.
Then just fucking...
Just put it aside.
Just put it aside. Don't play the records.
Don't play the records.
You and I know in any freaking horror movie setting that we're not going to play the forbidden freaking...
Oh, no.
Even in 2013, it's like, do not open this book. Do
yeah.
not read these verses. And that guy's like, okay.
Yeah, if you and I were in a movie, it would last about 30 seconds.
It's all calm
because we're
down.
like, oh no, we've seen this before. We're out, and then that would be the end of the movie. It's just not going to happen. But you don't have a movie if you don't do stupid shit within the movie to create all this bullshit. That's
the movie would be over in 10 minutes.
Shit, I wouldn't even give us 10 minutes.
Yeah,
unless they want to learn about our character. That'd be about it. And then we'd be like, huh? A camp? A book? What? Oh yeah, no, we're out.
Yeah, we're like
any of this shit, dude. Any fucking movie that we've seen. You know, what? There was a crash, like a fucking, fucking half mile away, and we're gonna go investigate it. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. We're out.
Yeah.
Movie over. None of that shit. We've seen all of it, man. So, but yeah. But let's see. Beth shows up, right? She's some sort of tech.
Guitar tech.
Guitar tech.
Yeah.
Sister calls her a groupie, or whoever calls her a groupie. She's a guitar tech.
They all call her, sister calls her a groupie to even like the residents there, because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're the groupie.
Yeah. So she shows up pregnant. She messed up, right?
Yeah.
So she got pregnant. I'm gonna assume this has probably happened multiple times.
Yeah, because
with her.
she goes, it happened, you know.
Happened again. Ellie said, comes clean. Hey, so and so left. Well, why didn't you tell me? Well, bitch, I called you like twice and you blew me off.
Right.
And so
Beth was replaying her
message. Yeah. She couldn't listen to it all. But earthquake happens. Obviously, Danny gets the book, brings the book up, plays the fucking records backwards, unleashes.
Yeah, Mom goes to
darkness.
Go do the laundry. Because there's some things that needed to be washed. Bridget was going to some protest, and she wanted her shirt washed, but Mom's just going to do it tonight with a bunch of other laundry, and this was the one scene I didn't really care for all that much. I mean, I know that they're trying to make it to where it all kind of worked in, but it's like with other Evil Dead movies, the evil seems like it picks a person. Obviously, it picked her. It picked Ellie, but she gets picked in the elevator.
Yeah, when she comes out of the elevator, it comes and basically, boom, it hits her.
Yeah.
And then I think it slams her up against the wall, right?
Yeah.
And then she wakes up and then starts to get attacked by the elevator?
Yeah. And then she's being
that kind of reminded me of being attacked in the original Evil Dead when what's her name was out in the woods.
Right.
It just kind of felt like that to me. Like nothing really original.
Yeah, original or not, it just, I don't know. This was the one scene that's like, I get it. It's whatever. I don't know. It didn't really I can't say it's boring, but this was the one scene I didn't really care for all that much.
Yeah, I wasn't really
her being infected with the evil. I don't have another. I was trying to think about this. I don't really have another way that she could have been infected that would make better sense, or not even better sense, but maybe more engaging of a visual.
Of when it hit her,
Yeah.
or when it got her.
Yeah.
Honestly, I felt
Because she
the-
had to be isolated, obviously.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole movie was isolation, right? And I'm typically all about a movie that takes place in like a selected area where it doesn't really kind of spread out. I'm okay with that. I've seen a lot of movies that are like that. I'm cool with it. For some reason, this one just bothered me. The whole hotel thing,
Seems like the only people that were living there, even though we learned later at the end of the movie
Yeah.
that's not the case, but the only people living there were the people on what were they, floor 8 or
were they 8 or 6 or something?
Yeah,
I
something
don't
like
know.
that.
I think that later in the movie we find out that Jessica, who got infected, I think was on 5.
Yeah.
Was she on 5? So I don't know how far up they were. I don't recall. But yeah, it just seemed like there wasn't a lot of people, and I don't know. How are people even living there? It just looked like nothing worked. It looked like it should be condemned.
Yeah.
And why were people? I don't know. But I mean, water still worked, right? There was still
Right.
electricity, but other shit just
even though it was working, but it almost seemed barely. you know?
barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. But that's the impression that it gave.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Ellie gets, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, infected.
Infected, I guess.
Yeah.
Possessed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever word you feel is
Possessed, yeah.
possessed maybe. And there's some cool, decent stuff happening. Like when she goes into she throws all the eggs. Were those eggs bloodied?
Yeah.
They look bloodied,
So-
right?
so-
So was that what happened with the?
So I think with a Deadite or the evil, say the evil presence, they have some sort of kind of direction over physical things too. So even though those eggs were probably okay to eat before, when she was touching them, then they
turned
they look like they were aborted freaking
It did.
little chickens.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. See, that's what I kind of thought.
Yeah.
And then she's talking. I don't know. I mean, she does her little dialogue with them about you could tell her voice is different. She's saying some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't she throw up at? Dude, what is that shit? That
Oh my God,
nasty,
that
milky shit. I was wrong, dude.
Yeah.
That was so gross.
Even Lisa was watching that with me, and she goes, "That's disgusting."
It was pretty
because it was a
pretty foul.
lot, and
Yeah.
it was kind of like
Yeah.
they had to step back.
Yes, dude, because it was just the puddle was slowly moving towards them.
Because it was just a lot.
But I'm trying to remember, dude. I just watched this last night.
Yeah.
At what point does they do something to her?
Oh.
Where she almost looks like she's dead?
Oh no, where she did die.
She does die,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because when she faints the last time, they
Oh,
were-
because she says, what she says something to Beth about like, watch out for my kids, or
Yeah,
or don't let them, don't let them hurt them, or something.
don't let them take my baby.
Yeah. And then she dies, and then
She dies, and then they lift her and take her to the bed.
Yeah, and then the neighbors come, and
yeah.
then the one neighbor wants to
Say something.
Wants to say some. Immediately, it was like, "Do you mind if I pray?" And I was,
And Beth's like, well, Ellie wasn't religious, but sure, and then they're trying to close her eyes at first, and they kept popping open.
yeah, that was kind of.
But
cool.
she looked.
I did like that.
The cool thing is she looked like a corpse. She looked like the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Laying there. She
Sure.
didn't look like a deadite. She looked like the Living
Yeah,
Dead.
yeah.
When she was laying there.
Yeah.
But then she comes back.
She comes back and-
Beth was isolated with her, and
she's burning up, right? And they take her to the bathtub.
yeah.
Right before that, though, didn't her eyes
dude.
pop open and the fly landed right on her friggin' eyeball?
Okay,
that was
so-
kind of cool.
So where you like the opening titles, like,
Yeah.
and I do too. I would say that's probably one of the coolest
The
scenes
fly?
because it's so subtle.
It was pretty cool.
But you could tell it was CG. But at
Oh,
the
yeah.
same time, it was pretty freaking cool.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, you could tell it was CGI, but I mean, I thought they did a good job with
Yeah.
it. It could have looked far worse. They rush her to the bathtub, right?
And
Because she's
get
burning
ice,
up.
Yeah.
And then I don't know.
Oh, she
man.
makes the water
Boil, right?
Yeah.
and then flies up to the ceiling and starts contorting her body. They always do these contorting things.
But you know
I'm
what?
kind of over this contorting.
The contorting thing is it's kind of, it's been played out. But I have to say I like that better than some other possession movies in recent years. Like, again, I'm going to say Conjuring 3 with the kid in the beginning. They were playing the whole friggin' The Exorcist, basically.
Yeah.
But that CG kid with the twisting, I hated that, dude.
Yeah.
I hated that. And I think that ruined most of the movie for me, for that movie. Where I don't hate the movie. I just hated that scene.
Yeah.
The Pray for the Devil that just came out. Again, it's another twisting, contorting CG thing, CG fest. This, you could tell, was not CG. You could tell that she was really there. They probably had her on like some pulleys and stuff.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it was practical, just an actress with makeup on. Was it contorting and stuff? Yeah, of course, but I like that most of this movie wasn't CG, except for obviously they had to do some in the end,
Yeah. I would say
because that half of it was practical with the what do you want to call it? The cluster monster.
the cluster monster. Yeah, that reminded me of a few other movies.
Yeah.
But it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some, like I said, there's some cool stuff. I think doesn't Ellie grab a tattoo?
Oh yes.
The little
the
tattoo gun, or I hate to say gun, but machine.
little
because I think tattoo artists hate when you say gun. The machine.
Yeah.
And ends up.
It's like a stylist.
Yeah.
Like electronic stylist.
Yeah, and hits. I think it hits Bridget
In the
on
cheek.
on the cheek. Yeah,
And
that could have
infects her.
gone. That could have gone. Yeah, that infects her. That could have gone far worse as well.
That kind of. I was thinking it was going to go down like 2013's version of. Remember when that girl had the needle, the hypodermic needle?
Yeah.
And she smashing the
Yeah,
guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
And it like poked him in the eye, and it got. Remember the needle was in his eye, and he was pulling it out.
I didn't think that was gonna. It's weird, man. With horror movies like this, I guess no. I was gonna say they don't go harsh on the kids, but then that's wrong because they absolutely did later on in the movie when Bridget is infected and she's eating glass.
Oh yeah, and it shows her throat.
Like when she swallows
cutting.
it kind of pokes out of it. Doesn't like go through the skin, but it pokes out. I was like, that's kind of cool, And she's eating the glass, and then she, of course.
No, I think it was coming out of her throat.
No,
and then,
it didn't
and then
come
it was,
out.
And then it was healing.
No, I don't think.
Really?
It did. No, dude, I don't think it came out and healed. I think it started to pop out, but then it went back in as she swallowed. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was kind of cool, right? I mean, the eating the glass. We talked about the cheese grater scene when she got Beth, because Beth got beat up, man.
Oh,
she
yeah.
got a piece of glass through the hand by Ellie.
Yeah.
I actually really liked that part, dude.
Yeah.
Like right through, right? She put her hand up to protect her and went right through. She taped it up, which is probably what any of us would have done, moved on her way, and then
Yeah.
she gets the cheese grater thing. But I mean, yeah, I think doesn't Bridget eventually get burned up?
Yeah.
I think she gets burned up, but she's beating the shit up out of Danny, like,
Oh yeah.
because didn't she like throw up all that like black kind of nasty darkness onto?
Oh yeah, because she's covered because they wrap her up because they think she's dead.
Yeah, she's not dead.
And then she has kind of reminded me like the end of the first Conjuring where she had the sheet over herself and then the mouth was all bloody coming through, so you can't see the face, but you could tell that there's a bloody mouth. That was just like Bridget when what was happening with her. So
yeah. So she gets infected, right? But then I think Bridget, doesn't she take that knife to Danny like right into the like bicep or
yes.
something? Dude, that was fucked up, man.
I'll have to say, as messed up as this one was with the brutality, I still think the 2013 was more brutal.
I think it was. Yeah. I would agree.
Yeah.
Because this one had a lot of blood, but I didn't feel it was as brutal.
Yeah. Out of the one, especially the guy that read with the glasses, he got He got fucked up really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
He got nails in.
Dude,
him.
that
He
one
got-
part in 2000 when the car, I think, falls on top of her and she
yeah.
rips her. Oh, fucking A, that got me.
She had to rip her
Or
arm
the
off.
or the friggin' the knife scene.
the electric knife.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So yeah, I would agree with you. I think that one was probably a little worse.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I mean, maybe they just, I don't know. Maybe the consensus was let's just tone this one down a little bit. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but I think, I mean, so we know the two kids, they get it, right? Cassie, I think, well, we know Cassie survives, but there's a couple times here where we think she's going to get it.
Yeah. Right.
And I will say, some of the stuff that was in the hallway when you're peeking through the door, the little hole,
Right.
I kind of thought some of that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like I felt like because you isolated the fact that it's just this,
Fisheye glass.
huh?
It's
Yeah.
like a fisheye
Yeah.
glass where you can't really see on the, past
yeah.
a certain side.
But I think my point is because most of this takes place on one floor,
Right.
right? So one floor of a apartment building,
Right.
You're limited. You're limited on what you can do. I thought that adding that was kind of cool.
That was
you
cool.
know?
And this did play with the whole Evil Dead trope of trying to leave and can't leave, because
Yeah.
they went to, it's like, okay, well, we can't use the elevator. And then, well, let's use the stairs. And then it's like, they go to the stairs and the stairs are gone.
The stairs are gone.
Just like the bridge is gone.
Yep, exactly.
So-
yeah. They did some flashbacks to like paying homage to some of, the original. Like, doesn't Beth say something like come get some or something
come
like
get some.
I was hoping she'd say something like groovy or something, but I knew that wasn't going to happen.
And of course they had to give her a chainsaw.
Yeah, well, I mean, shotgun, right?
Yeah.
She has the shotgun.
Yeah.
And she's doing some damage with the shotgun. What happened when Ellie was able, because Ellie, she decided, she saw that the cat was stuck in the ducts.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, oh, let me use the ducts to get inside the house. And at this point, I think Beth was listening to these vinyls to see if she could figure out how to
stop this.
How do you stop this?
Oh, and then she obviously heard the only way to stop it is total body dismemberment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but how does? Oh yeah, because so do they get? Does Ellie end up back outside in the hallway and they close it off?
That's when. That's when.
Or is this is when Cassie and Beth are going to leave?
Yeah, this is when Cassie
and Beth.
Yeah.
And then she has the shotgun, and then I know she's trying to break that. She's trying to break the door off of one of the other units because supposedly there's a fire escape.
Right.
But dude, what the hell did they do? Did they weld this door shut because
I know.
no one could get it open?
I know that one guy that seemed pretty tough. He
couldn't even get it
Yeah,
open.
he was using like a tire iron or something.
I think he had a hammer.
Yeah.
I think he had a hammer. He was trying to knock but none of them could do it. Then Ellie comes out into the hallway, and Beth unloads a few buckshots. And what doesn't she blow off her leg and then her arm, or is it her arm and then her leg? Is one of the two. I mean, she did both. I just wasn't sure in which sequence. I think at first it was the leg, and then she went to shoot her, and then I think that one neighbor kind of grabbed her when she was shooting and ended up she shot Ellie's arm off.
Yeah.
And then beat the neighbor with the
But the
with the handle with part of the shotgun.
Yeah.
And then they go to the elevator, and at this point though is when Danny and Bridget come out and they form this. Yeah, dude, what is this?
oh my.
This three-headed friggin' weird.
No, it's like where their bodies all merged together, so they have their heads and arms together and legs, but they're all like a big cluster. It's funny. It's like each Evil Dead book, because they said that these must be the 3 books from Army of Darkness that were on the altar. That Ash was supposed to grab, and then he forgot the words, and he.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't see it that way. I just see this as being Elseworld kind of Evil Dead movies.
Yeah.
But you see, like in Evil Dead 2, Ash is looking at the final big bad. It's that big face, remember? And then in the 2013, the final big bad is that creature that's coming out of the ground. You know, it's like the.
Oh, yeah.
And then this one, the final big bad is that cluster monster.
Yeah.
So each one has like a final form, a final beast that you have to, you know, it's the final boss in a video game that, you have to fight.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's just a, you know, it's a demon of the three bodies all clustered together. But it was pretty creepy.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of
kind of
cool.
reminded me of like Leviathan, you know, where you
Leviathan, or like cheaper version maybe of Society, where they all kind of merge and shit like that. Because a lot of those 80s movies kind of did that, right?
Yeah.
Where shit like that body horror stuff, where stuff kind of merges in and then it creates some sort of.
And we don't see that much anymore, but yeah, that was really prevalent in the 80s. You know?
Who did that? Brian Usna?
Yeah,
Usna?
that was Screaming Mad George is FX.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah. You don't see that a lot anymore, but it's, you know, they make their way into the elevator. I had a little bit of issue with this, and you probably were like, "Oh no, I loved it." When the elevator fills with blood, and then when it because it's so heavy and it, you know, and it falls down because essentially the wires break. And then it hits, and all the blood come out of the elevator. I was like, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, obviously, see, it seems like you're bothered by a lot of this stuff.
I am bothered by shit like that.
But I like it because it's an obvious homage to The Shining.
I know what it's an homage to. No, but I just feel like it's like, but dude, come on,
it's
really?
so on the nose, though.
I don't know.
But you hate it. I like it. Now, if it was doing it and trying to say it's its own thing, you know, it's like, we've never seen The Shining, you know, we're doing this. I
guess, man. I guess, like I said, you just have more patience and tolerance for this shit. I don't. I mean, I knew what it was, but I was like, I've already seen this. Like, couldn't you have done something else? I don't know. Whatever. I guess I'm just old and crudgety, man.
Yeah.
You know, but they make I'm an old man, I know, huh? Well, they make their way out, right? They're trying to get the hell out. They hop in the car. They're trying to get out.
Yeah, they're in the bottom parking garage area.
But then they can't get out because I think what happened was when the earthquake, it broke some of the concrete, and she just couldn't get out at that point. And then, of course, the monster comes, and there's this
standoff between them and the monster.
So when the monster comes out and they leave the car, and they're circling around the car to try to avoid the monster, and then they go and they see that the door for this parking garage opens up. They go to make it out. Well, Cassie doesn't make it out. The monster grabs her and shit. Beth's like, okay. So Beth comes back in.
And then it's like Beth is, because many times during the movie, it's like, you know, so Ellie is a mother, you know, and, you know, even though, you know, they're kind of, you know, not doing well financially and whatnot, you get the impression that she's very with her kids. Her kids love her.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's a good mother. And then there's been some, you know, nods to the fact that, you know, Beth has, you know, had some abortions.
Yeah.
But Cassie does say, you know, Auntie Beth, you'd be a good mommy.
Yeah.
So I think that motherly instinct thing kind of kicked in for her. She's like, no, I got to go get Cassie.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Especially losing the other two kids. It's like, I'm not losing her.
Especially that promise. It's like, don't let it get my babies.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's that, you know, fight with them, right? Like we got a chainsaw.
Oh yeah.
We got a wood chipper, or not even a wood chipper. What is that?
It is a wood chipper.
Is it a wood chipper?
Yeah.
What the fuck is a wood chipper doing in a parking garage?
Well, it's probably.
Is it because they're going to tear this down and they're going to throw?
No, I think somebody that lived there, that's probably their business.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's so many nods to the other movies. So the pizza, you know, was Henrietta's Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Which Henrietta was the wife of the professor in Evil Dead 2. And then she was the possessed big fat creature that was in the cellar.
Oh, yeah.
So that was Henrietta. And then this was, I can't remember the tree service, but obviously the chainsaw was was a nod to the fact of, Ash and his chainsaw.
Oh, for sure.
And
And
then-
then I mean the shotgun, the boomstick, or whatever.
And then when you see Beth with both the chainsaw and the shotgun, it's
Yeah.
it's like she's
Come get some.
a female Ash in a way,
yeah. Without the
without missing an arm.
without missing an arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like Mia in the first one where she was missing an arm, but she didn't use a.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's there's a cool little fight, right? But I mean, eventually she takes the chainsaw to the head and pushes this creature into the wood chipper and destroys it.
Yeah.
A lot of blood,
A lot
of blood and gore.
A lot of blood.
So when we think it's probably over, but we know it's not really.
Yeah.
I will say this. What I did kind of like before we get to that part with the Jessica that kind of comes full circle.
Yeah.
Is in the car there was a the keychain. And did you see the little keychain where it had a picture of Ellie and the 3 kids and they were on a ride at I'm like, that looks like it's a California Adventure
Oh, okay.
at Disney, Disneyland.
Right.
And what it was, because I've been on that ride,
Right.
it was from Tower of Terror,
Oh,
which is
okay.
not there anymore.
Right.
But what was Tower of Terror? It was a hotel.
It was a hotel, yeah.
So I thought that was a kind of cool little.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a cool little tie-in
didn't
that I
catch that, yeah.
appreciated. Yeah. I only know that because
Right.
I'd been on it and I got a picture of it. And I was like, I think that's Tower of Terror.
Yeah, now it's the Guardians of the Galaxy
I think
ride,
so.
yeah.
But I thought the Tower of Terror ride was really cool. I thought it was very creative.
Well, they still have it in Florida.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of
It's
cool.
still Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
But I mean, then Jessica, the gal from the beginning, comes out and she's basically going, she's going to pick up her friend Teresa, and then of course she sees all the blood and stuff, and then of course, yeah,
and then it's kind of that classic, where the evil is racing to her,
Yeah.
and then she screams, and then it cuts to black, so you know that she's going to be possessed.
yeah, which is what we saw at the beginning,
Yeah.
because it was a little out of order. But yeah, no, I mean, and I always like that. I always like following the camera. I always like following the camera. I always, and I know I don't know if Sam Raimi's the one that created it, and maybe there were some other people that did it beforehand, but he's definitely perfected it.
Yeah, that dolly,
Well, I don't think that's. Well, I think it's on a. But are you thinking of Dolly? Not Dolly Zoom.
not dolly zoom,
Because Dolly Zoom is completely
Dolly-
separate.
yeah.
But yeah, being on that, yeah, and then just it's a cool effect. And it's well known in this
Yeah.
franchise, so you got to have it. You can't do a movie of an Evil Dead and not have that. You have
Right.
to have it.
of course.
That would be like sacrilegious. It's
And
like
then
you don't do it.
also, what I've noticed too is these last 2 directors kind of do what Sam Raimi does, is the fact that he do the what is that one called, where they do forced perspective.
Oh
you know?
yes,
Yeah.
there was a scene. I was like, oh, that's kind
Yeah.
of De Palma like.
Yeah.
It was in the kitchen and had Ellie's face, and Beth was towards. And I was like, that's a cool little shot. It reminded me of Brian De Palma.
Yeah, Brian De Palma, and then of course, Sam Raimi did it too.
Yeah, yeah.
For
sure.
Obviously, De Palma did it first.
He
But,
did. He
yeah.
did. And
But it's that forced perspective
Yeah.
to where you got like a face up close,
Yep.
like we see in Carrie. And
for sure,
yeah.
I noticed that last night
Yeah.
watching it again. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are some things. It's not a horrible movie. I just didn't like it as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've said some nice things about it.
and I think I liked it more than you did.
You did,
Yeah.
and that's not unusual.
But I didn't love it as much as I liked the 2013 one.
Yeah.
But I still had a great time with it. Will I get it for my collection? Absolutely.
Of
I
course.
will.
Of course you will. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know you
it's
will.
Blu-ray worthy. So
Yeah. Well, that's Evil Dead Rise.
yep.
Morris would definitely recommend it. I would say check it out. I mean, if you're a fan of the Evil Dead franchise, I say definitely check it out.
Yeah, and if you have Max, it's streaming for
Yeah,
free. Well,
for free.
obviously with your subscription
Well,
to Max.
yeah. But that's it, man. Anything
Yeah.
else?
Nothing else I can think of. But
I don't think
yeah.
so either, man. Yeah. I
That's
think that'll do it.
Evil
for
Dead
us.
Rise.
Evil Dead Rise. Yeah, that's it.
Evil Dead High Rise.
Evil Dead High Rise. Yeah.
All right, man.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out, man.
Yep.
Everyone, thanks for listening, and take care.
Peace.
You listened all the way to the end. We appreciate that. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Ear for Fear Podcast, Twitter at Ear for Fear, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Ear for Fear Podcast. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There we list news and events. We're available on all the main platforms, so make sure you tell a friend. We hope you come back and get an earful.